Resurrection is not limited to icons, but unlimited to the life of our souls. We have all walked the dark nights when we thought we were in the right, and we have all walked in the light when we thought there was none. Oneness is underestimated because it covers far more than peace, love, happiness, and the trappings of dogmas. Oneness is to understand that all of the dark nights hold the same face and that everyone's pain is equivalent when weighed against their singular life experience. Oneness is releasing every possession which really had been possessing us all along. The old family gripes so easy to blame on another, the religions and icons forced on ancestors at the price of land and freedoms forsaken. The government conspiracies and royalty belied of the dark demagoguery of foolish human pride. The chains and the stains, the shames and the blames, that even if we're true, serve no purpose but to hide us from ourselves and each other. Divinity is always becoming, always on time, leading to the first and last, the end that begins. I am soul.
Hey,
Yay, we did it.
yeah, what's going on?
Oh, so many things.
No shit. No shift, right?
No, lots of shift.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of shift going around. Yeah.
For sure, for sure.
So, yeah, we'll just jump right into it. We're live on Facebook. Hello, everybody. TL, our dear beloved sister in Sedona, Arizona, with Susie. Monique down in Adelaide area, South Australia, Ella Gore, Maria Spanner. Maria, thank you for always sharing Soulogy stuff. Maria Iverson, Sweden. Tone Bordelon. Amy Sunshine, Carrie Samadi. Hello, Carrie.
Carrie!
Olivia Castillo Provorce. And let me just share it to the network. We'll get started.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing too.
Okay. We got 29 people in the house. Shout out to Divine is Happening, Jim McCarty, 13 Dimensions of Consciousness, Rides and Above, Lisi and Damon, 5D High Vibe Tribe, Sean Christopher and that bunch, Spiritual Healers, New Earth Ascending Soul, Infused Lights, that's Gregory Jones, 1111 Moment, Jessica Woods, Galactic Federation of Light, Twin Flame Healing Network, all great groups, great sites to check out. Hello, Mary Cooper. Thank you for always showing up. And did you send me something for the show?
Nope.
Okay, I just wondered.
You
But
want
I did. What?
You want something?
I don't know what I want. I'm just showing up every day. Let's talking to TL. I talked to TL last night, and she's like, "Yeah, sometimes you wake up and you've just been wiped. Like you navigate and go through the journey on a daily basis. As the present is the only time and space, and then you wake up in the morning and you got to kind of like go through it again. May not take as long, but yeah. So yeah, I got to tell you, I feel very raw, which is, I think, a good thing. Vulnerable. I'm vulnerable. I don't know if it's vulnerable is the word. Maybe a little bit. I'm dealing with it. I think this stuff hit Morgan. Oh, she always goes first. Hit her yesterday morning, and I took a walk today, and I'm thinking this isn't even mine.
Hmm.
This isn't anybody's. This is just collective, and
Yeah.
I'm going to work through this thing. So,
Yeah.
how you been doing? I know you're very raw and very authentic, and you just put it out there in all the extremes of your emotions, and I love that about you.
Oh, thanks. Wow, been going through a lot. Lots of realignments. Feels like I'm getting hit with some curveballs. But I'm pretty centered because I acknowledge that this is all for my mastery. This is for my growth. This is for my expansion. And so I'm just embracing it. You know, the stuff that feels great, the stuff that feels icky, the
Yeah.
surprises, been under attack, lots of things happening, and just embracing it all and saying, you know what, I'm getting stronger. My light's getting brighter. I'm more expanded, and I feel pretty grounded and centered. And I don't want to get cocky about it, but just in the past, week or so, I've been feeling more grounded and centered with it all. So
Yeah,
each day as it comes.
I agree with that, and I think I'm coming to find that I can feel raw, a little bit vulnerable. I can feel anything and still be grounded.
Yeah.
I saw this thing. Well, I forget what it looks like now, but I talked about it last week, and it was this, this spot, 0 point. But I was shown like 0 point wasn't just this singular little, minute dot. It was this space, kind of like the Vesica Pisces space, or even in between the infinity sign. If there was, it's a space, and I was shown you can fluctuate within that space. That it's not like a single point, and if you get off, oh shit, I'm off the singular point of 0 point. But actually, a space where you can fluctuate, like feel fear, feel raw, feel the attack, feel the projection, feel your projection, and all that stuff, and just kind of like hang in there just for a little bit of a suspended animation kind of moment that you can pull it back in instead of falling out or shooting up or down or whatever.
I want to speak to the vulnerability piece.
Yeah.
I'm actually this month on my page, the Creation Temple page, I'm talking about strength, and next week I'm going to highlight vulnerability. And the truth is that our vulnerability is actually one of our greatest strengths, because when we can be in our vulnerability, when we can be raw and soft and vulnerable, that's where we have the most power.
Yeah.
Because it's a combination of being receptive, being open, and being real. Like a vulnerable state is a very real state to be in, especially for those of us who are sensitive, those of us who are empaths. Being vulnerable is very real. It's like our everyday life, because our nervous systems are always on overload. They're always overwhelmed. They're always, fritzing out and feeling everything. But when you know how to be vulnerable, that's really when you develop your strength, because it takes a lot of strength to be vulnerable.
I'm getting a big shout out to Susie from the Cosmos on that one, chiming in my ear. What I'm finding too is that, like, even observing Morgan yesterday morning and observing myself today, I had this thought yesterday, but I thought, well, maybe that's just my mind, just like, thinking you're smart, what's happening, which is these periods of that rawness, that vulnerability, actually precede. It's almost like it's getting you ready. It's like taking you to a place where you're like, okay, I give up. I'm neutral. Show me the way, whatever. And you got nothing left, and then it comes in, and that's kind of what I was thinking yesterday, and I kind of feel that today. I kind of feel like that something. It's almost like a prerequisite to the next set of goodies.
Yeah, because you can't be truly vulnerable and not be receptive at the same time. If you're truly being vulnerable, there is an openness, there's a receptivity.
Yeah.
You're not hiding anything, you're not masking anything, you're just exposing it all. And in that exposing, there's also a receiving.
Yeah. True. Which to your the pictures and the commentary you put up where you're the warrior, the warrioress, and then I don't know, there's some where you're not angry, I don't know if you're angry or sad. You had one that struck me. I saw a couple
All of it.
Yeah, all of it, right?
I've posted about anger, I've posted about grief.
And you post the pictures with it, which is cool. Yeah, which is cool. But yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for that. So what are you going to cover? What are you going to cover on that next week? The vulnerability and the rawness. It's almost like our greatest weaknesses or our greatest strengths.
Yeah. Well, I haven't written the content yet, so we'll see what comes through. So I can't answer that yet. But it's about being vulnerable and how that is your strength, and how if you want to be a person who has strength, you need to be able to also be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And vulnerability is not weakness. Make no mistake.
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
I know you know that.
No. I mean, I didn't always know that, but I like the word authenticity, because it's not vulnerable. To me, carries a different connotation than raw, but raw doesn't really do it either. It's just like it's like you're just opening yourself up and letting and exposing everything, like nothing to hide, no embarrassment. And I've seen the power of that in Soulogy over 8 years within myself, but really more so in other people. And so it doesn't matter what they're saying. They could be bitching, they could be venting, they could be saying, "Oh my God, I got visited by galactics," whatever it is. It's just that honest, genuine, innocent. Hey, I put my shoes on just like you, and here it is. That's it. God, that's it. That's the human is the hero frequency to me. And it's I don't know. Is it uncomfortable, or is it just the heart breaking open? Because that's what it feels like to me.
Well, there is discomfort sometimes in vulnerability, especially if you're new at it, especially if you're new at allowing yourself to be exposed, allowing yourself to be seen. There can be discomfort.
Yeah.
Because if you're exposing yourself, all of a sudden, all this energy that you've shielded yourself from is now able to access you. That can be very overwhelming.
Yeah. Good point.
It can be a lot.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think too, Franco, I'm gonna get his name wrong. Franco was on yesterday. D something. And no disrespect. My memory's being wiped like everybody else's. But anyway, he was talking about maybe it was with his higher self. I don't remember, but speaking. Like something I've that's come to me, and I've talked about it, where it's time to speak this. There's something about this realm. There's something about it coming through the voice and speaking it that absolutely creates these mini cosmic explosions of contagious soul fire. That just, you know what I mean? It's like
I do.
Yeah, it's like the 100th monkey exponentialized. Just like boom. People just pick up on it, and I think a lot of people have experienced this as they come out on Facebook, whether they post, do videos, a little bit of everything, and people will write you and say, "Hey, like, were you talking to me?" Or, "Oh my God, you were saying what I couldn't say," but you know what I mean? You see that resonance, and I've seen that in a lot of people. A lot of people.
I have a really cool story about that. Can I share?
Absolutely.
I've told this story already on Facebook Live, so if you've seen it, here it is again. So last Friday, I was at the farmer's market and I greeted a group of friends, and they were standing with this man who called himself a fifth dimensional healer, or my friend told me that's what he was. He didn't tell me that. And he turned towards me, and then he pulled me out of the group and he started scanning me. He just started looking at my field and just scanning me. And it felt really icky because I hadn't given him permission to do that. And I didn't say anything in the moment. I was just going to kind of see where it went. But after the experience, I thought about it. I was like, man, why didn't I say something? And then I was talking to my friend, and she's like, you need to say something to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I pulled him aside and I said, listen, that was a violation. You violated my space. And he's like, no. I'm like, yeah, I didn't give you permission to scan my field. You didn't have permission to do that. And he said, I don't need permission. And I said, yeah, you do. And he wasn't getting it at first. And then I said, if I would go up to everyone that I see and I would tell them what I see in them, that would be a violation of their space. And he's like, well, you just want me to, turn this off? And I was like, no, I'm not asking you to turn it off. I'm asking you to ask for permission before you tell me something that you see. Maybe I'm not ready to see it. Maybe I don't want to see it. You need to ask permission. And when I said that, he did eventually receive my message. But the point that I'm getting at is when I spoke up for myself and I set that boundary, a lot of the stuff that was trying to hook into me left. It was like at an energetic level, they got it. Oh, she's not going to take it.
Yeah.
She's not going to take it. She set the boundary and they respected my boundary. So if I hadn't spoken up for myself physically using my human voice, my energy would not be the same today as it is.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So the speaking up for myself was very important. And it wasn't about this guy. It wasn't even about the situation. It was about speaking up for myself and saying, this is my boundary.
Yeah.
You violated it. And it's not okay that you violated it.
Yeah. And that is the, the universal golden rule. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, it's not even about do unto others because it's ethical, moral. It's beyond that. It's like, you know what? I'm a sovereign being. I don't care who you are, what dimension I'm in, what timeline I'm on, what alternate universe. I am a sovereign. That's the only thing I can stand on.
Yeah.
All I need is all I got. Anything else is conjecture as far as I'm concerned, because I'm not that smart, but I am soul. And, you're better off than me. I'd have told him to fuck off, basically. And that wouldn't have done me any good, or him any good. It would just created more of that wounded masculine that I'm still working out.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I think it's especially important for the feminine to speak up and stand up for herself. Yes, the masculine needs to do that too. And this isn't about creating separation between the masculine and feminine, but there is a wounding of the feminine with her voice.
Yeah.
And it's only when the feminine speaks up for herself that we feel that wound.
Absolutely. 100% behind you. That's the Soulogy objective. Because yes, it mostly is going to show up in the feminine incarnation. So mostly it's going to be to our physical gender, but it does apply to everybody. And I think the wounded masculine, well, first of all, absolutely, that suppressed feminine goddess energy in all of us has been kept down. So even when a man who's working on his wounded masculine, like me, decides to flip off at somebody and go wounded masculine, that's not the wounded masculine speaking up. It is, but it's not the masculine that needs to speak up. The part of me, I'll just use me as an example, that is coming out in fits and spurts, is the soft, pure, sacred sexual vibration that we all carry regardless of gender, and that is the one that's been suppressed. And that's you did a great job with that guy. I mean, because you confronted a wounded masculine energy. Really, I don't care how much of a healer he is or what the hell he can see, or if he can walk on water, it doesn't really matter. Right. He was working in an old paradigm. And the funny thing is, I saw that in Sedona. Nothing against Sedona. I've met a lot of
Speak it out. Tell the truth about Sedona.
Well, okay. I met a lot of very expanded, elevated, primarily, if not every one of them, was a woman. Quiet, kind of in the background, doing some work like you. But in these conferences I covered, I saw 80, 90, 95% of what was being presented and allowed was an old paradigm, wounded masculine, and that would include some of the female presenters. And I thought, wow, this is really weird. This is really strange. It's almost like there was two realms. There was this pure, I got this realm. I don't need to go shout it out on the mountaintop. And this other one, which was all about, hey, look at me, I'm over here. Look what I know. I'm smart.
You know what's so funny is that for a long time, I have felt that quiet power. Like, I don't need to say anything. I just need to be it. And suddenly lately, something has shifted where I'm feeling very called to use my voice.
Yes.
And to speak up.
Yeah.
And I find it very interesting because it's not about, hey, look at me and how smart I am.
No.
It's about, we need to speak up and stand for what's right.
It's a necessary, in my opinion. And I've watched this for a while. It's part of my work. It's part of the work Morgan and I do. It's what we've received from Soulogy's consciousness speaking to itself, saying this is a platform for the children, my children, the children of the Mother Goddess. That doesn't speak to me in literal terms, in terms of all women or whatever the case is. It speaks to me as a frequency. A frequency is an example. I've done a few shows called masculine rising or masculine searching for his ass or whatever. It's like, hey, we're messed up and we're going to talk about it. But the beautiful thing about it was very soft, 2 or 3 of us sitting around talking. It felt really good to say, hey, I'm a man and I hung my hat on my sexual performance and now that's gone and I don't know what to do. Or I'm a man and I have these fears when it comes to women, or whatever the case is. But that is that frequency, that is that pure truth that has been suppressed, because that's what it is.
Do you feel how much we're transmuting right now?
Absolutely.
I need a helper, so I'm going to do this. She's going to help us transmute, because it's really, I'm hot, I'm burning up over here, Todd. I do have a question for you, if I may.
Absolutely.
As a man who's working through healing your sacred masculine, how can the women in your life support that healing?
Well, there's one primary one. I can tell you how it works. Well, first of all, they bring something to the table that that I have not uncovered in myself. Like, she brings something to the table that was foreign to me. Like as the days go by, I'm in awe. I'm like, oh my God, how do you do that? So there's a certain element that is just going to hold space. That's going to, I don't know. I think maybe, like you said earlier, you carry that frequency, you carry that space in your field, you just be that. So then I guess he kind of observes it and somehow or another, consciously or not, starts to try to align with it. But I think in terms of, practical boots on the ground thing is kind of like an energy practitioner. I'm not going to do it for you. I might take you to the door, see that you've opened it, and then I'll see you later. You know what I mean? So it's like, nobody can save us. Nobody can do it for us. Nobody can heal us. I mean, we can all help each other and collaborate and co-create. But I think the best thing is that Morgan often says, love isn't always pretty. So it's that tough love. It's that, hey, you know what? You're on your own, for this moment, for this day, for this particular situation, whatever the case is. I think that's probably the best thing, because as I see it and understand it and working with her and observing other people, that literally that male frequency, and I guess it applies to all of us. I don't really understand it, but until the feminine energy steps into that full power, like such as what you're talking about, I don't think it's unique to you. that women are starting to say, I need to speak, right? I need to speak. When that happens, as that happens, the masculine side will see it and realize that's a different language than me getting up and, getting on a mountaintop and saying, hey, look at me, I'm a man and all that. It's that soft, pure truth that's actually like the sword of Archangel Michael, man, just comes in and just, you know what I mean? It's just a powerful, piercing frequency that I think we're all going to be seeing more of, and it's going to take a little getting used to, but I think we're doing a great job with it.
So I'm hearing you say the way that women can support men healing their masculine is by women stepping into their power, using their voice, and by giving a certain flavor of space, like not trying to do the healing for you, but letting you, like trusting in your own ability to heal yourself.
Yes, and I think that actually parlays into any and every one-on-one situation, be it a father and a daughter, or whatever the case is. She often used to say, I must be moving into the higher grades now, as I don't hear it as much, was do you want a mother or a goddess? Okay. So, but I really think there's been a big shift, more of the masculine energy made available, the true masculine energy. I see it affect the women, I see it affect the men, and it does primarily follow the lines of physical gender. But I think really it's the self-reliance of the soul, and whatever the symbols of the equation are, they're the same symbol, and that is that own your stuff, and you walk the walk. I mean, you whoever you are. We're moved out of the teacher, student, guru, yogi thing. I can see how that's happened. It applies to the male and the masculine and the feminine.
Yeah.
But she definitely, for whatever reason, in this space and time, that energy definitely is leading the way. Definitely. There's no doubt in my mind, none at all. And I see that as a benefit for me. And maybe the next trip it's different. I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Well, I can speak from a woman's perspective that this is my personal feeling. I feel that we're stepping up to lead the way because the old masculine paradigm doesn't work. And so if we're going to create a shift on this planet, someone's got to step up and do it. Now, my preference is that I would be leading the way with the divine masculine by my side, that it's an equal partnership and co-creation. As a woman, I don't want to be leading the way just all from my feminine. I want to lead the way in partnership with the divine masculine.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way we're gonna heal all of this anyway. We've done the thing where the men lead. We've done the thing where the women lead. We know it doesn't work for only one to lead. We need both together. Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening. I think what's happening is that, and again, let's just take the gender out for a second. All right. So you have an entire realm. If you look at the entire realm, if you're looking down at it, it was lopsided. The masculine was in a false position of power. So whether you were in that mode more, or in the I don't want to say passive, but you can't have one without the other. It's kind of like living with a narcissist, someone that overtakes. Well, that's going to stay that way until this person stops overgiving, right? But what I see happening is that feminine energy had to come up. He wasn't just going to go down and say, oh, I'm going to give all this up. No big deal. So she had to come up. And what that did was that actually applied pressure on him. And I think it's caused a lot of men, and I think it will continue to cause them a lot of internal stress, force them into that universal isolation to really look at themselves. And I think, so what happens is naturally, like a pendulum or a seesaw, she goes up temporarily. And then he gets his shift together and starts to come up, and then the dance starts. And I got to tell you real quick, interesting, metaphorical, literal thing that happened to us about 10 days ago. So we laid in bed, we held hands as we do normally. and we see what happens. Well, we were laying next to each other, and I just remember my side of it. My eyes started to vibrate like this, right? Now, she's a transmitter, and sometimes she'll narrate a little bit, but not much anymore because it's very telepathic. But at one point, she says to me, "Do you know what's happening?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah. I know what's happening. I don't need any words. I'm just trying to hang on." Well, it was this fusion in the physical. And so all of a sudden, I was her, literally freaking her, and I'm like about to look down and see, do I have breasts? And you know what? I mean, but it was dark. So I'm looking, and now I see myself. And I'm looking at myself through her eyes. I'm like, holy shit, like seeing the reverence she has. It was a very powerful experience. But the reason I'm telling you this is because when I was being her, I guess is how I'd put it, we were really, I guess, in oneness somehow. I started to see all these different aspects of her, shadows, off planet, past lives. But the first thing I saw was her masculine. And that was freaky. It was her face, but her masculine. And I thought, oh, we're getting somewhere now. Something's happening. So it was like in my own journey where the masculine and the feminine merge, divine union, whatever you want to call it, the feelings I've had, the experiences I've had in my body and in the third eye. But it was two people, So I thought that was a really significant thing. And I know that's not unique to us. So if that energy is out there, it's got to be everywhere,
Yeah, there's definitely a merge that wants to happen. And the only way the merge can happen is if both rise and heal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So I like talking to you. You always turn it around and become the interviewer. No, it's not an interview, it's a conversation. So
I think it's important for women out there to understand, and I'm still trying to figure it out for myself, how to help the masculine heal. Yeah. Because we've tried and we've tried and we've tried, and it seems like we haven't gotten it right. So
I what I really, now that I reconsider that, I think it really gets down to the same thing. I think she steps into her power, period. Because it's not even the words, although that's nice. I've had great instruction, been introduced to some fantastic modalities and processes. She served as a conduit to bring in and anchor to the earth through her connection with infinite intelligence. That's all fine and dandy, but at the end of the day, it's about how, in this example, how she carries herself, what she is, who she is, and that doesn't need any words. So you could apply the same thing to a parent-child or a child-parent, depending on who's leading who. You know what I mean? I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. You look at that energy, you take that energy in, you see it and feel it, and at some point you either resist it or you align with it because it is a higher ground. Yeah. And I think the old method from that imbalance that we were talking about earlier, I think the old method is that and I've lived it, hey, let me take care of you, da, 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 da. And I'm like, no. You know what I mean? I mean, but many men, it's been given to us. So the pacifier was there, so we naturally sucked on it.
Yeah. I think it's something important that we all figure out how to do this because, for myself, I have several men in my life right now that are wounded, and sometimes I feel a little lost about how to help, and maybe I don't need to help. Like you said, the best thing I can do is step fully into my power and let them do their thing.
Well, you can tell them what she used to tell me all the time.
What I used to tell you?
No, what Morgan used to tell me.
What's that?
She said, I'll be here. I'm just going to wait for you to pull your finger out. So, and here's the funny thing. And I think this is the way for most men, because it is a different language. Men aren't stupid. Inherently, men know that women had intuition. Right. Inherently, men, they knew. They could be all this Billy Badass stuff and all this, but when things got, a little close to the heart, or, where did they go? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that because it's kind of a different language, Nikki Hammond talked about this about 2-3 weeks ago. I think we don't understand it. Or I'm going to speak past tense. We didn't understand it. We didn't
The language of the
understand.
heart.
Yeah, we didn't understand her. No, we didn't understand the
gotcha.
language. The language. We knew it was high level. We knew it was something we didn't have,
Yeah.
and because of the condition, we probably scared us, and that's why you had all these cycles of suppression and all that stuff.
Right.
But you know, so whenever he's left in that universal isolation without that crutch, okay, he has no choice. You know, he has no choice. And so what can he reflect on? So you can project, you know, on her, which doesn't matter if it's her or anything external. But at some point, you get to the point where you got to look yourself in the face, and so it's a different trip. You know what I mean? One to the other. The feminine had to say, "Hey, wait a minute, I'm taking my power back." You know what I mean? I'm going to start talking about this. Where the masculine had to go, okay, well, I have this erection, I have this libido, I have this stature, I have this power, I have this, you know, bigger body and bigger, and that's all gone now. So then you're standing there holding the only thing you thought you had in your hand and saying, "No, everything's gone. Now what do I do?" And I think that's where they're at. I think that's where they're at and where they're getting to, and that's a good thing. That's that raw authenticity. That's that vulnerable spot, and we know now that that's the prerequisite to the magic coming in. It's tough. You know.
I want to say to the men who are with us, if you're in that spot that Todd just described, to please go into your heart, because that's where your power is anyway. That's where your magic is anyway. You don't need the stature. You don't need the, you know, the posturing. You don't need the libido and all the things.
Yeah.
Go into your heart, because that's everything's there. Everything you need is there. And that's what this planet most needs.
Yeah.
That's what the ascension needs.
Yeah.
That's what the women in your life want from you anyway.
Yeah.
I had an experience recently where there was a certain person, a man, that I wanted to be seen by this person.
Yeah.
And so I just kept kind of talking to his heart, you know, in like his higher self kind of, you know. Yeah. And then there came a time where we came together in person, and he just kind of softened a little bit around me, and I was like, that is your magic. That is the true you, not all the, you know, the posturing and the masculinity and I'm tough and I'm this, and like, no, I don't care about any of that. In fact, that turns me off.
Yeah.
I want to connect with your heart.
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking to a friend yesterday. I won't mention any names. And we were talking about that whole thing, the coupling, you know, and she said, you know, I'm not looking for it like so many of us. And that's another thing. You got to let go of all that. And then it comes in, right? Mm-hmm. And anyway, so she's like, yeah, but, you know, I'm not looking for it. But yeah, I would love to be in a situation where he has the same, you know, in other words, his awareness is it near at the same level or whatever. Yeah. And then the keywords were, and it's not that physical thing, like the physical. And that's a big pill for a man to swallow. And I've been there, and I will give myself that credit. And it wasn't easy and it took a long time, but is to get past, when you can get to a point and understand that she doesn't care, like the physical part of it isn't the priority.
Right.
And so really, not so much when you can understand that that's how she feels, then you get to a point where the man's looking at the man in the mirror and saying, can I love you? Can I respect you and honor you and actually look at you in the mirror and see you're a fucking man when all the armor's gone? Mm-hmm. That's the come to Jesus meeting that the man's having. And it's through her eyes. You know, Morgan said a long time ago when she came down the first time, we're at my mom's house, and she told my mom, you know, I'm going to use his love for me until he finds his love for himself. And that's the same thing I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He can't see it until he sees it in her. You know, he can't be it until she can be it. You know what I mean? I mean, that's really the two things. Going back to your other question, one, when the time calls for the tough love, leave him alone and let him work his stuff out. And yeah, have the respect that he can do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And two is to step into your power. Step into your power, because, you know, like begets like, and, you know, if he doesn't work for you, something good or better is going to come around.
That's
You know,
right.
because you've raised your frequency.
That's right. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, that's right. So, oh yeah, so yeah, things are moving along really. It's nice to be vulnerable and soft. It takes some getting used to.
Yeah.
Good subject, and you're right, it is important. We've sat here and watched, and again, we're using words, we're talking energy, but we've sat here and watched her. I've been online for 6 years now, and it's been 80% women, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
we've watched her do it. But here's the thing: 80% women in these communities, but less than 20% of the ones that are visible out there doing what I do, for instance, like making videos, and you know what I mean? It's flip-flop, right? That's why, going back to the Soulogy thing, it's the frequency you carry, that the Morgans carry, that these women that are just coming out for the first time. Oh my God, how many in the last 2 weeks? I've never been on camera before. Oh my God, it's like freaking raining gold buckets. I mean, it's just like, it's an incredible thing to see. And then to understand that they had the knowledge, that they knew what was going on, that they sat there and waited and held space and wore the rock. But yeah, now's the time. So as much as we need them, the men, to stand up and really step into their real to their heart,
Yeah.
there's still plenty of at the same time we still need these women, or it behooves
Yeah.
us, you know, it helps us for them to step up and say, I'm going to get past my fear and I'm going to tell my story, you know.
Yeah. I want to share. I have a friend and a colleague here in Sedona. Her name is Casey Baker. She has a website called Woman Speak. It's the singular version of woman, not women, womanspeak.com. And she teaches women how to share their voice on stage. And it's really powerful work. And I had the opportunity to be part of a recent weekend event that she held. And I'm telling you, Todd, if we need women to rise up and share their voice, she's someone who has a whole movement that's happening around that. So I feel like I would be doing an injustice to all those with us if people didn't know about her work. It's called Woman Speak.
I'd love to get her on the
Ah,
show. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
yeah, I'll connect the two of you. It's really amazing when women do start to share their wisdom and what they know. And
Yeah,
some women have had
absolutely.
their voice locked up for years.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when they open their heart and their mouth, the wisdom that flows out is incredible. And especially some of the, I don't want to be ageist, but we have these older women with this deep life wisdom. And then we have these teenagers, these fresh, they're not fresh souls, but they're kind of fresh souls to the planet, with fresh voices, with these perspectives and wisdom that they hold and embody to share with us. We need to listen to the young girls.
I know.
They have something powerful to say.
I know.
And her work is supporting all of that. It doesn't matter the age. It doesn't matter. She has something called Girl Speak as well, which is supporting teenagers and sharing their voice. It's amazing when the feminine starts to speak and when people start to listen to the feminine.
It is. And yeah, it really is. And it's getting interesting because as I sit in this chair, I have seen very masculine women who've been out there. Okay. Like I said, it was 80-20 in the community, but 20-80 with the faces that were out there doing the teaching or the talking or whatever. But I've seen the quiet ones, the reserved ones start stepping up, and I see what it does to everyone. Like I see what the impact it has on the men and the women who are maybe have some wounded masculine. I don't know. I'm not pointing fingers or anything. I'm just trying to describe this energy, this transition or transformation or both that's occurring. And I remember when I was first given I told you the story. I was given Soulogy, the name Soulogy, on Morgan's birthday 3 or 4 years before I met her. And I remember for 6 months, they kept telling me, it's not about you, Todd. It's not about you. And I thought, dude, I've been humbled. I'm on the streets. I got a flip phone I'm working with here. I got 300 people in the Soulogy group. I have no effing idea what's really happening, but I'm following your lead. I don't need any notoriety. I don't care. I'm just here to do whatever you tell me to do. So this would take on a different connotation throughout my journey. It's not about you. It's not about you. Oh, I need to bring other people in. Then it really hit me just in the last couple of days, and actually maybe even last night, because we had a big activation last night. Came through Morgan as usual. It was freaking incredible. There were words spoken, but there was much more going on. And those words came back to me. It's not about you, Todd. Well, it's not about him this time. It's about her in this moment. It's about the feminine, the mother goddess voice. It's about putting her first. And so here I am. Now I'm microing this in my own life. I'm trying to get Soulogy in my role. Now I'm not the only one, but to elevate. My job is to create awareness. That's what I do, So I go down to Kapaa here a mile down the road, and there's this spiritual center. I walked in there last week with Morgan and a friend, and I'm like, hey, dude, can I broadcast my radio show here? He's like, yeah, man, come on, 2 hours Saturday night, prime spot. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So I'm thinking about this today, and I'm thinking, that's okay. That's kind of a little side bone for Todd, like a little bone. Todd wants to do that. Todd wants to he loves doing that. He loves to do that. But that's not the focus. The focus is to pull her voices, her children's voices up and bring out her frequency. And that's men and women, children, older people, whatever. That part of us that not just the men were suppressed and don't talk about your feelings on. Hey, y'all were affected too. Y'all were affected too. And if you weren't affected literally in that sense, you were affected in the polarity. So what's the difference? It doesn't matter. But I think the key and the way out, so to speak, is to and this is primarily women, is for them to come up and speak and start speaking like this lady that you're talking about. I think that's a fantastic program.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like the biggest domino.
Yeah.
So that one falls and the rest of them, we don't have to worry about it.
Well, I want to thank you, Todd, because I can feel your heart in this as you share. It's not about me. It's about elevating for all. And I'm just like, you bring me to tears because I'm feeling how genuine that is, how genuine your heart is in that space. So thank you.
Well, you're very welcome. This is all real time.
Yeah.
We had this thing happen last night. I hadn't even got my arms around it. I don't remember half the things that were said. I remember through her, however you explain that, they worked with these 3 chakras above my head, 3 chakras below my feet, and all the chakras. But the whole thing was, when I came out of it, which was another layer, because this has kind of been the trajectory that I've been on, a higher understanding, a higher awareness, a higher commitment, a higher devotion. Why am I here? I am here for her. I can't speak to other lives I've had. I can't speak to anything else. And I don't give a shit because this is where I'm at. And there's got to be a reason for that. The human is the hero. So this is what I got out of it. I got like this, okay, this is why I'm here. I serve her. And I know that sounds like I'm giving my power away, but I don't. I'm not giving my power away. I'm serving her and me first. I'm serving the mother goddess in me first. And by God, I'm a talker, but there's a difference between some of the talking I've done and that soft, expansive, powerful, makes me shake voice that comes out. Like even now, I'm sweating bullets over here.
I can here have
sweating.
some transmutation. I can feel like I said, I can feel your heart. I can feel the passion in what you're sharing. And I can tell you as a woman, when a man steps up and says, I'm here in service for you and for your mission. Like for me, because I'm mission oriented in my world, there is no greater gift than I can receive than the masculine supporting me and saying, I'm here in service to you.
Yeah.
Because it is not, when the masculine does that, it is not him giving his power away.
No.
It is him joining his power with the feminine power.
Yeah.
It's a joining. When the masculine supports the feminine, it is an amplification of power. And like I was saying earlier, that's what we need. We need those two power pieces to come together.
Yeah.
And eventually we won't even be having this conversation about the masculine and feminine. It's just we're human beings doing our thing.
Yeah, this is that transition where she's going to lead for a while, or maybe even just looks that way. I don't know how to explain it, but it only makes sense because everything plays out in the physical and the linear timeline that occurs energetically first. I mean, we all know this, so it only makes sense that we're going to see signs of that. But yeah, I well, look, we devoted ourselves as men. I'm talking the masculine journey. I've had there's always been something in me that I guess had some level of devotion to this mother frequency, right?
Mm.
But and we all get a little off track, whatever. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I know just from like memories, like soul memories of going through this, and this is why I was doing it. But my point is that even if you, like you said earlier, we tried all these things that didn't work, right? We tried the masculine stuff that didn't work. So look, we went to war for our country, for our families. We went to work, which was war. We did all this stuff in the name of love. That's what we were told. He didn't want to do anything but to make her happy and to please her, but he didn't know how, because this whole thing was built. This power he was given was really a huge burden on his shoulder.
So Todd, you have frozen for me. And I don't know if you're frozen for other people. I don't want to talk over you, but I think you're probably just frozen. So I want to go back to something I said earlier. Yeah, you're back. I want to go back to something I said earlier, that your true, the man, or all of our true power is in our hearts. It's not what we do in war. It's not our conquests. It's not, all the stuff from the old paradigm, what we've been taught.
Yeah.
The true power that a man has to offer is his heart.
That's right.
And that's really what we want. The women don't want the men to go to war. No one wants that, No one wants that.
That was the bill of goods we were sold,
Right, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, it's there is no other way to describe it. You can say it. It can sound cliche, and like, oh, go within, come from the heart. But no, it is the truth. It is a painful, at times painful, cracking open, and it's it gets cracked open, and then you're like, and then you wake up the next morning, and it's at a higher level of awareness, which you discover a higher level of hardness or armor. So you got to get a bigger chisel and you got to bust it open again, and then there's the analogy, a couple of times people brought up the last couple of days about the egg. I think Morgan was talking about it. So if you break open an egg from the outside, the life inside it dies. But if the egg breaks open from the inside, it lives, right? So I would describe it as that. It's really not like, maybe that's what she was trying to do, the feminine, break open his heart. But really, the truth is he could only break it open from the inside out. And it's pretty, but I will tell the men this. I will tell them, and I don't know how long I've been on this path. I would say probably with some level of awareness beyond just words, probably last summer. And it's been an incredible, always accelerating, highly impactful, intense, laughing, crying, the whole 9 yards. But it does get easier, and the power that comes with it is from what I can tell, it's going to be huge. Like it's
true power.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. It's like I've seen her power, the feminine's power. Like I'm going, okay, how powerful am I going to be? This is like getting like, oh, whoa. This is like, whoa, So, yeah. It's encouraging.
The thing about the heart is that most of us have had pretty severe wounding around our heart.
Yeah.
And so when we begin to open it, we don't at first feel the power, the light, the flame that's burning within our heart. We first feel the wounding and the pain that surrounds our heart.
Yeah.
It's like we have to get through these layers before we get to our heart.
Yeah.
And so when most people start to open their heart, they're maybe a little turned off, or like, oh, I don't really want to do this. This is too painful.
You're damn right it is.
Get through those painful layers.
Yeah.
What you find through that process, the purity, knowing your true desire, that's priceless. And it's worth it. It's worth it. If you're in the spot right now where you're accessing your heart and you're going through the layers of pain and healing your heart wounds, keep going, because it's so worth it to get that.
It is
in your heart.
There's a call going. I think there's a call. But I kind of feel it. I feel it myself. I made a couple of decisions yesterday. And those decisions are, they're based on what I'm feeling, this call, like a higher call. And it has to do with the masculine, cutting the shit and just, you know what? You came here to do something. Let's do it. And so I think that energy's got to be out there. It's got to be out there. It's not just me, right? It's not.
No, it's not just you. It's not just you. There is a call that has been set forth for men and women to come into their hearts, to rise into their true power.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, God, it's so refreshing talking to you.
Oh, so thank you, brother.
It really is. I've always enjoyed talking to you. It's just like, I love it because it's spontaneous and anything goes.
Anything goes.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, man, this thing, I've never used this purposefully as a transmuter before. But when we started our conversation and the energies were going and I could feel we were both transmuting in the conversation, I was like, I need some help here. Like, I'm burning up, and she, this is the Alewa swirl, she sits right over there next to my desk, and she's calling to me. She's like, I'll help, put me on your head, I'll help. And since I put it on my head, I feel so much better.
I feel pretty good too. It was a little shaky
from a distance. I love it.
My heart was vibrating a little bit. Listen, I wanted to tell everybody on the subject too, and it's all about collaboration, co-creation. Susie had it. The mother has spoken.
Whoa! We didn't have any call for thunderstorms here. We didn't have any.
Well, I don't think. Yeah. So what I was going to say is, you had us on your show. So it is a year of collaboration, co-creation, expansion, sovereignty, and so we're doing what we can at Soulogy to do that. And so we are going to be, Morgan and I are going to be on Spirituality Gone Wild, which is Debbie Garcia and that group over there. We're going to be on March the 9th, and we'll post it. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about this kind of stuff.
March?
No, I'm sorry. What month is this? June. June the 9th.
Just checking.
June the 9th. And so we're going to be talking about this. And we had a little conversation this morning. It is time, and we're going to do our part. The best we can do. I think we're going to be making a series of videos, not lives, but videos discussing some of these topics, which is primarily going to be her talking, because this is what we're talking about. This the sacred wisdom that so many of you carry. It's time for it to come out, and so we're going to support that, and we're actually going to do a conference in January in Sarasota. We're going to do a workshop on sacred union. We're both going to speak on whatever subjects. So yeah, it's time. I mean, that's the thing. Each and every one of us affects the whole. Don't underestimate the power of one unique and equal soul. You step up, man. Everybody feels it. Yeah. It's almost orgasmic, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's what that was. What you just heard. I think
Oh my God.
the mother.
Totally unexpected.
She's gonna spank me. Mother Mary, Mother Mary, Magdalene, Mother energy is just, yeah. So yeah, well, I can't wait to. I really hope that Morgan and I can get to Sedona, and we got
Yeah.
so many good friends over there. I really love her to see it. I experienced it, and now that we've been through the initiation of Kauai, and I've been through the initiation of Sedona, I don't think she'll have any problem over there personally.
She'll be fine.
Yeah. No,
Sedona's ready for her.
yeah, it's all good.
I want to, if I may, share something that happened yesterday with our Creation Temple members. We did a meditation for the planet. And a lot of the meditations I do, I put them in the Creation Temple and they're paid content. But this one I was guided to share for free. So it's on my YouTube, it's on Facebook. It's called Planetary Meditation for Abundance. And what also came through was a beautiful golden spiral activation.
Wow.
And that's for people who want to embody the golden energy of prosperity and abundance, to share it with everyone else. It was something that I was given about a year ago. So that is, it's 23 minutes, I think. So it's pretty short, but I would invite everyone to participate in that meditation. And if you could go to my YouTube and watch it, that would be amazing. I'm trying to get 1,000 views for YouTube. My channel on YouTube is youtube.com/Shamalata2. I will come in the comments after we're done with this, and I'll put my channel in there so people can find it. I'll just put the link to the video directly.
Hang on, I'm going to go to it. Hang on a second.
He's going to do it right now.
Susie.
While he's doing that, I'll also share.
What's it under?
Yeah.
Oh, I think
if you go on YouTube and search Susie Beiler Planetary Meditation, you'll pull it up. Yeah. Also on creationtemple.com, if you go to just that homepage there on the top right, there's a place where you can join my 14 days of prayer with the violet flame. So if you were feeling the transmutation that Todd and I were doing during this call, and you want to be part of that, if you want to contribute to the transmutation of the energies on this planet, that 14-day journey is for you, and it will help not just the planet, but it will help you personally to cleanse your aura, to clear your field, to get you more mentally, emotionally, spiritually stable and balanced. It's using the violet flame and your own powers of transmutation to really help you. And that's free. You just go to creationtemple.com, put your name and email in there, and you'll get started on that 14-day prayer journey.
So we can do a little clip of this. All right.
Okay.
Let's do
All
this.
right.
Hang on. Okay. So
Look at this. Here we go.
Yeah. And oh wait, gotta get the sound on. Is there sound?
Yeah.
So we're going to do a
Oh,
meditation
there you go.
for the planet, meditation for wealth for everyone, for peace and harmony for everyone. And if you've been listening to my teachings, the wisdom that comes through me, I share a lot about the importance of being with your own energy, your own soul signature. And so we're going to start the meditation with that so that you can really get solid in your own essence and energy. And then Julia is going to lead us in a segment of the meditation. And then anyone else who wants to join in. And then I will close out the meditation. So I'll just invite you to close your eyes, get in a comfortable position, sitting up, lying down, reclining, whatever feels good for you. And just begin by breathing through your belly. And feel your body, feel your heart, and ask to feel your soul. Ask to feel your soul in your body. And how does it feel to be with your soul energy? Allowing your soul to express through you as we go through this meditation. Allowing your soul desires for heaven on earth, for abundance for all, for planetary peace. Allowing those soul desires to be amplified in this quantum field that we share together. How does it feel to be with your soul essence? Allowing the purity that you are to amplify within your being and to radiate, to emanate from your heart, from your energy field. Feeling centered, feeling present in your body with your soul energy. Take a deep breath. How does it feel for the energetic signatures of your soul to come more and more into your awareness? Allowing the sacred geometries of your soul to calibrate your cells to your truest nature. Allowing the numerology of your soul to calibrate your cells to their truest nature. Feeling anchored in your body with your soul essence and energy. And the higher the frequencies you feel, the deeper the anchoring you feel within your body. The more your soul energies and energetic signatures of your soul express themselves through your body, the more centered and anchored you are with the expression of your soul.
That's yum. That's yummy stuff right there. That's really,
Right.
really. Let me get out of it. Yeah, and so everybody, you know what? We're here to support each other. We know that, and this is 23 minutes. And let's see. Yeah, so it's under Susie Beiler channel. He's got 4.3 thousand subscribers. I just subscribed. Sorry it took me so long. And but yeah, this sounds like a really yummy meditation. It's something she usually puts up in her in the more private stuff. So it's public, and it looks very, very good. I wish I could play the whole thing.
It gets
But
pretty powerful.
Well, it sounds very powerful. So that's Susie Beiler, YouTube. You guys check it out. Michael Van Patten was asking you in the comments if you could send the links to soulogytech@gmail.com, and then
Yes.
he'll incorporate those things into the archives he's building. Thank
Yeah.
you, Michael. Thank you, Michael, for everything you're doing. So,
What's the email? Soulogy Tech?
yeah, it's in the comments.
Okay.
soulogytech@gmail.com.
Okay.
I don't even know that one. Tom Bear. Tom Bear, who's always assisting everybody, put up Susie Beiler @hotmail.com, website, Twitter, Creation Temple, YouTube, Instagram, and oil testimonials. So there's a bunch of links there as well. You guys, we're going to have to get ready. I have to decompress for a little bit and go get one of those twirly things and stick it on my head before the next show. So, Susie, it's always a pleasure. I'd love to get together with you again soon because it's been cathartic. It's been very helpful to me, and I'm sure to everybody else. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Todd.
Mhm.
It's always this divine conversation we end up having. So I'm grateful to be able to share. Thank you.
Yeah, me too. Thank you. You take care.
Mwah.
See you guys in 45 minutes with the next show. All right. Bye-bye.